What's going on, guys? Instinct from ProGuides here. Today, we're going to be going over a Challenger Evelynn game on the Korean server, patch 9.13. Now, today, we are actually going to be focused on the macro of the game, which means that we're going to be focusing on how Evelynn's decisions affect the rest of the map, rather than how they just affect her personal gameplay. Now, getting right into it, we are going to notice that this is a Challenger average game, 4 Grandmasters on the other team, 1 Challenger, versus 3 Challengers and 2 Grandmasters on our side. The next thing we want to notice is that Evelynn does take Electrocute and Sorcery second. Now, what that's going to imply is that Evelynn is looking to add on that extra damage to her kit, while also gaining a little bit of move speed for those movements, for the paths, for the rotations on that Relentless Hunter rune that we're going to see being taken. Now, we're also going to notice that secondary she does go for the damage option in the sorcerer tree, and that's because she's going to be looking at not only getting off as much damage as she can as fast as possible, she's going to look to add to her mid game power spike that she's going to most likely be farming towards. Now, something I do want to point out is that she actually does take the magic resist tertiary rune, and what that's going to do is it's going to allow her to be a little bit safer in the jungle versus the Gragas if he does choose to try to stop her heavy farm, which is what she's going to look to do. So Evelynn does want to farm as much as possible to get to 6 so she can be useful, beneficial to the game, and that's going to be stopped if Gragas tries to interrupt her, so she does opt for magic resist runes. Now, I would say that here you could also take the armor rune for kiting and tanking those jungle camps, as well as if you do have to get into a fight. We notice that they are pretty AD heavy with Zed, Lucian, and Gangplank, but it's no big deal. She's looking to not fight anyone probably early on unless absolutely necessary. So without further ado, let's get into it. What we're going to notice here is that Evelynn sees Gragas, and she's going to put some vision down on this side of the map. Now, the reason that she does this and gets an early back off is because she understands that she's not going to start this side of the map, and she really just wanted to see if Gragas was going to stop that power farm that she wanted to get going, like I mentioned earlier. Now, with Gragas showing, she puts vision while he's out of vision. Most likely he didn't see that. If he did see that, she can expect that he now knows that he's been spotted and that he can't go for free into the Evelynn's jungle. If he does go into the jungle, she does have options where Camille and Azir can collapse on him, and then also if he starts her jungle, she has the option to go ahead and vertical jungle after starting her blue buff or potentially invading his as well with her team and getting a safe invade out. We're going to notice that the bat comes out. And then after the back, we're going to notice that the Gragas actually does go back into the jungle, and he's going to put some vision on the Raptors. Now, the reason he does this is because he wants to know how long Evelynn is in her bottom side jungle. He also wants to know um, where. I'm sorry. He also wants to know how many camps Evelynn has when she does get to those Raptors. Now, with the Raptors being warded, she is going to be seen on them in about a minute from that time, up to a minute from that time. And what Gragas is doing is he's really just preparing himself to be able to put himself on the map or put himself in Evelynn's jungle at his power spike, which is more than likely going to be level 3 rather than Evelynn's level 6. He's going to be he's going to try to be more useful on the map before that time. And we're going to see how Evelynn plays around that coming up soon here to see what she does to get around the vision. Now, this is just going to be normal micro stuff. She's farming as you would expect to see. She's going to do optimal farming. So, um, to talk about the pathing here, the reason that Evelynn is turning on her Gromp and not rushing for her second buff, as being afraid of an invade from Gragas, is that she is expecting to farm here until level 6. She's looking to get as much experience as fast as possible so she can get that power spike, get that level 6 power spike, and put herself on the map as quickly as she can. You're going to notice that she's kiting nicely. and that's a good thing. Now she did just see that ward go down. So what she's going to do here, because she knows that Gragas did have vision, um, we're going to notice that Camille does get pushed in, so she's not pushing up because she knows that Gragas has vision. She also knows that Evelynn is not stronger than Gragas in the 2v2. Gragas has a more reliable CC, and he also has a faster combo, obviously, and we're going to see probably a little bit more damage come out a little bit more reliable on that champion rather than Evelynn. Now we're going to notice that Evelynn does see that our team gave up a kill to the Nautilus level 2 all in. And then we're going to notice that Gragas was also down bot. So what that signifies in that moment here is that Gragas was bot side of the map. So she knows that Gragas isn't in his top side. She also knows how many camps and what level Gragas is versus her. So she's going to be able to safely farm this top side of the jungle without being invaded. So she knows that. And she's also most likely going to be able to do something topside or go into his jungle. Now we're going to notice that the Gragas does ping his blue side of his jungle, his top quadrant of his jungle, and that's because he knows he left camps open. So Evelynn, if she goes down there, can also mitigate the bleeding that's already started to take effect by Gragas being bought and getting that kill because he was successful. She's able to actually adjust her path so that she can get some gold and experience back um, versus what Gragas got. So he's not just getting away with the bot gank for free. And we're going to notice that she does try to clear vision here. She started with oracles, and with this, you actually definitely want to start a quick oracles lens on champions that rely heavily on perfect ganks early on. And we're going to notice that that's the reason that she's able to get this gank off perfectly. Now, she and Camille have been watching. The gangplank was past this line for most of the laning phase, meaning that he didn't dip back this way to get any vision over here that they noticed. And if he had, Evelynn was prepared to clear the vision and then go into this jungle. Now, instead of doing that, because of what Gragas does in the bot side, she's able to go ahead and look for a free gank up here with no repercussions, right? Gragas can't 2v2. He's pushed up too far in the middle of the lane to be able to walk through for free. We've got Camille that still has her flash, and for some reason she has glacial augment, so she's going to be slowing, which also means that Evelynn does want to path towards her because those do look like improper runes to get her ahead and snowballing so she can do stuff on the map as well. And then we're going to notice that obviously Evelynn just plays this properly, waits out her time, makes sure she goes in, and then she's going to push on this. And this is actually going to be what gives her the experience and the gold to fight the lead that Gragas had gotten. Now we're going to notice instead of doing the scuttle crab here, she's going to go for a back, and we're going to assume that she goes for a back because she's going to come up on a power spike item, which would be her blue smite, so that's fine, in an amp tome. That's perfectly acceptable. She wants to go ahead and reset here without taking that without taking that scuttle crab, um, because she doesn't want to waste time. Now, if Gangplank teleports back and Gragas somehow comes up to that river, she's in a risky position because Gangplank and Gragas will have more HP than her and Camille, and they'll have to burn summoners for taking the Scuttle Crab. She doesn't take it extremely fast, so she doesn't want to be anywhere in that for no reason to give up more of a lead. Now we're going to notice that she puts in vision and she goes for his raptors, Gragas's raptors. The reason she does that is because she can assume that because she didn't go into his topside jungle and instead went out for a topside gank, Gragas understands that she's not in here because that's where Gragas went. So once Gragas realizes that she goes for a topside gank and gets it off successfully. When she dips back into this jungle, Gragas is coming up pathing directly here because what he wants to do is catch Evelynn on a mistake, either taking his wolves or taking his Gromp, and he's going to full combo her with obviously getting a back in. So he's probably also got a similar power spike to what Evelynn has right now. So Evelynn doesn't want to take that risk. She's not strong enough to fight that off. Now, again, that's the reason that Evelynn doesn't take that Scuttle Crab and backs off instantly, because Gragas is pathing towards that top side directly after his revival, after his death. So we're just going to notice some regular farming here. We're going to check the lands, and we're going to notice that Evelynn's bot side does have priority, so she could set up a pretty good dragon with some vision here. Now she's going to notice that Gragas is on his raptors, so she knows that she can farm her top side of the jungle very safely. She doesn't leave anything in her bot side jungle, so now no matter what Gragas does, he has vision on him, so he's not undetected in ganking the bot side, so that they know that they can back up and play a little bit less aggressively. Looks like they're going to get a free back off here. And then Evelynn knows that Gragas is going to path towards his bot side, most likely taking his Krugs after she's going to look to get another lane gank off on the Gangplank. And this is just opportunistic. This right here is opportunistic play. So the reason that she's up here is because we know that Gragas is here, and for him to be optimal, he actually has to path to these Krugs, or he's not going to have um, the proper experience and level on Evelynn if she does the same opposite path. So there's no reality where Gragas would take these and then path this way to come help Gangplank, so she's free to come make this a 2v1 where there's absolutely no pressure that can be exerted from the jungle or the mid lane at this point. And she knows that her bot lane actually backed, so there's nothing she can do on the bot side of the map. There's no camps that she can take. She's already used her pink and her regular vision to see Gragas on his raptors, so she has a free opportunity and a very, very safe opportunity to come up here and look for a lane gank. And best case scenario, she gets a kill. Worst case scenario, she gets a flash. And the Camille's playing this very perfectly, playing back, not displaying that there's any kind of problem. We're going to see an instant flash come out from Gangplank, and that's going to seal his fate right there. Now Evelynn does not help push because Camille's got a wave at her tower. She's going to be able to catch that, get all the experience, and deny that experience from Gangplank when he comes up. So she's going to have a lead there. Gangplank was able to, did flash out of experience range and die. So even a few minions, we're going to notice that Camille has an advantage. So now post 6, Evelynn has 6. She's going to farm her Krugs, make sure that she goes back. After she's taken the Scuttle Crab, she wants vision in this river. The reason she wants vision in this river is because Camille now has a lead. Even though it's an assist lead, Camille has the lead, and Gragas does want to look to shut that down. Now instead of originally like she wanted to get this in back, she's going to also notice that Gragas just pulled off a dive in this bot side, which means that her blue buff is coming up, which also would mean that his red buff is up. So realistically, Evelynn knows that Gragas has two options. Gragas just dove here. He's either going to stay for another round of a dive on Kaisa, which is highly likely with Nautilus if she steps up. However, he's going to probably get vision on this blue, so he's going to know to take this blue buff away from Evelynn because he knew that she was just topside, right? So he can assume that she's in this top side of the jungle, taking either her Krugs or checking in Gragas' jungle for anything that he's left up. And then we're going to notice that Evelynn does go in this side of the jungle after the Scuttle Crab, because Gragas' only option is, like I said, there's 3 ways. He can stay and kill the Kaisa, he can take the blue buff, or he can start Dragon, which is another very good option for him, or he can take and go ahead and go to his red buff safely and get vision on the Dragon to set that up for another play. We're going to to see what happens with that next. Evelynn using stealth to walk through the jungle so she's not seen by any vision, she's not seen by wards, and she knows that she doesn't see anything. So we're going to notice as soon as she sees that she uh, didn't see anything on her first walkthrough, she instantly backs. She doesn't walk forward more than she needs to. Now, she didn't notice that the Gromp was coming up. It looks like the Gromp actually did come up right as she was backing, but that's fine. It looks like she's going to try to see if she can snag her blue buff instead, because there were no indications that Gragas stayed to take that, but we're going to see. And it looks like it's going to pay off. So we're going to see Gragas taking her blue buff, so she also knows where Gragas is at again. Gragas does have to reset now because we've noticed that he does have just the blue smite and boots with Predator on them um, with the Fiendish Codex. That means that Evelynn does have an advantage right now. Now she doesn't have a move speed advantage on him because he has Predator, but she does have a full item built, and Runic Echoes is a very big power spike for Evelynn when she's post level 6. So we're going to see that play out as well. Gragas does have to take his bot side of the jungle. He can't just leave it open because if he does, Evelynn is just free to take that. So he's going to have a little bit of a delay getting back onto the map, and we're going to see that affect how Evelynn plays the next part of the game. It's probably going to look for another topside kill into pressure on this tower because we know that Gragas has camps coming up again. We also know that this is going to be a little bit of a different play. So we have Vision here that she dropped when she was in, or I'm sorry, that it looks like Camille dropped when she came through again. So we know we're going to see Gragas when he comes through to try to stop this Camille's lead, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Gragas is going to come towards that top side of the map to try to shut this Camille down since she's pushed so far. Now, instead of going for this dragon and getting a lead through this objective, Evelynn is going to look to snowball herself and keep the Camille alive as well. So what's going to most likely happen here is that we're going to see Gragas on this ward, and Evelynn's going to know to counter gank this. Evelynn or Gragas perhaps might go through the lane and gank, but more than likely he's going to try to jump over this wall with the blast plant and go for the Camille gank, whereas Evelynn already knows that that's probably going to be his path because he's 2-0. Evelynn's also 2-0, so they're fighting for who can get who most ahead right now. And Evelynn's going to be there for the counter gank or just to shut down the gank play before that even happens. So it looks like he won't be able to get out, and there's that. So because he was able to, or because he died so fast, Evelynn actually knows she has free access to go into Gragas' jungle. Now she knows this because her mid lane does not have priority at the moment, but her top lane has absolute priority. So no matter what, she's able to go ahead and get a free roam in his jungle for this because she has her ultimate, she has flash up, and she has laners who have priority to come help if necessary. She also has the damage and the kit to do exactly what she needs to do. Now it was a little bit risky. She did Zed did roam a little bit faster than she probably would have thought, but she was confident. She knew she had the damage. She also had the vision, and she had a Camille ready to come with flash as well. Camille didn't need to come, but that's exactly why she played it that way. She knew that Gragas was going to be in his top side, and she knew that she had free range to come into his jungle and fight him with the damage that she possessed. She knew she had more damage than Gragas at the moment. And then a safe escape with her ultimate and flash. She takes the blue buff and she goes. Obviously, she's going to go away because we see that the enemy team is in that jungle, making sure that she's not taking anything else. And then instead of backing, she's going to make sure she's still staying optimal and still pathing the proper way so she can keep that experience lead. Right now, she has a level up on Gragas. She's going to look to keep that experience lead and snowball a little bit further. Obviously, she knows her cooldown timers, so I wouldn't be surprised if now she paths down, takes the Gromp, picks up a pink ward, goes to put that on the dragon. We're going to notice that her path perhaps might change from a direct path to a path up here. Now, the only reason I say that is because we have not seen Gragas on this ward, which means we can assume that he didn't take his Gromp. So Gragas is bot side, and we see vision on him. So we can assume that he's most likely going to try to set up this dragon um, with a bot lane that is ahead of our bot lane. So with our bot lane not having summoner spells on their ADC, and their ADC having his summoner spells up, as well as Nautilus being a stronger champion than Nami for reliability. I would say that Evelynn doesn't fight that, just to be on the safe side. So we're going to see how this plays out. So we notice some pings coming out, saying everyone has vision on who. Looks like Gragas showed that he cleared out some vision, put some vision in that bush. Looks like she is going to go stealth and walk straight to the dragon, not pop the plant. She doesn't want anyone to know she's there. She's going to go ahead and start the dragon because she knows that they don't have vision on her, and they didn't have vision on her because she stealthed over the scuttle crab vision. And then we're also going to notice that she's able to continue doing this dragon for free because Gragas was on the Camille. We're going to take it back 10 seconds. So we're going to take it back 10 seconds. And we're going to notice this. So as soon as she starts this dragon, Camille gets tagged up by Lucian and Gragas. So we knew Lucian was topside, which means that Gragas didn't have another way to come contest this dragon. Once the bot side swaps lanes and they come up here, Evelynn can take this dragon for free because now their strongest lane is on the top side of the map, unable to contest with the Gragas here, which forces their weakest lane, which would be top lane, to be bottom, and he cannot fight this in any aspect. Now we are going to notice that Gangplank is low. He was just fighting, so Evelynn also knows that. But in the case scenario where she can't see anything, um, even though she can see all of them up top, she's very safe to take this dragon because there's no way that they can contest that with their strongest laners in the top lane. So she's free to take this, and then she's most likely going to look to clear her jungle rather than the enemy Gragas' jungle because again she wants to be safe. Now the reason she wants to be safe is we notice Camille died, so her strongest lane just died. Her Kaisa is topside and her Nami is bot side. So if she goes into this jungle and Gragas had path with Predator straight down to her instead of stopping at any of these camps or Rift Herald, right? If he comes this way, he puts Nami and herself in danger. She doesn't have flash, and Zed has his ultimate backup, which means that he can get there faster than Azir can and do more damage. So instead of potentially giving up this 4-0 lead that she has, she's going to take the safest route and she's going to clear her jungle, which is guaranteed experience, guaranteed gold, and a safer back. We're going to watch her farm this. I would be very hard pressed to see her take these wolves next, or I'm sorry, the raptors next. She's most likely going to back after. Oh, it looks like she's going to just take them full clear. Make sure she's getting the full clear of the jungle. And I can see the reasoning, right? The reasoning that she's going to take this full jungle, to my, I would say, disbelief, is that she wants to put herself back on the map. She knows she's strong. She doesn't want to have to clear her jungle um, to stay strong. She wants to keep her lead and not have to be stuck up taking the jungle when she comes back. She's going to go ahead and collapse on this fight. It's great that she's positioning herself to take the ADC out. It looks like Azir did a very good job of taking out the Gragas, and then they're just going to follow up and do as much damage as they can. Keep following. Very nice attempt by Camille. Um, I don't know how much I like that attempt, but it looks like they all lived, so it's fine. Very, very well played. Everyone tanked as much aggro as they could from the towers. Evelynn unfortunately does die in that skirmish. However, overall, the team does um, pick up what they need to pick up there. The Kaisa gets herself back into the game. the Camille is able to teleport in and do what she needs to do, and the Azir is also there for the cleanup as well. With only Evelynn dying, I would say that's very worth. Now we're going to notice that the next dragon is an Infernal Dragon, so we're most likely going to see Evelynn stay towards the bot side to try to pick up this dragon because the Rift Herald is down. Now, um, and we're just going to see where we go from there. So while we're having the dead space, I do want to talk about why Evelynn is being greedy with her buffs. She's not giving them to Kaisa. She's not giving her mid lane blue, and that's because she understands that she is the strongest person on this team. She wants to give herself the best benefit, or I'm sorry, the best chance of survival and kills, um, while being as safe as she can. Now it looks like they're going to make sure that they can't get CC locked by the Nautilus and then just collapsed on by the Lucian. Lucian does get out, but they get the very, very free, very safe kill on Nautilus. And we're going to notice she doesn't path towards. Evelynn doesn't path towards her Krugs or her Raptors. Like I said, she doesn't want to be stuck taking these camps while she can do something on the map. So she's going to path with her stealth right back into the mid lane. So she's waiting for them to be aggressive again, make a mistake, make a misstep, and put herself in a position where she can stop anything from happening. So she's actually probably going to stop this back. Exactly. Perfect. Stopping the back on the Lucian. No one expected it. They can't see her. Um, they can't see her stealth. So we're going to rewind that just a second and watch why this works. So because she chose to stealth here and she's not seen, instead of going for some farm, she understands that if they make any mistake in this mid lane, she's able to capitalize on it, being as strong as she is. And then we're going to notice that everyone backs away from the Lucian. Lucian waits for way too long, and then backs in a very open space, doesn't expect Evelynn, and that's where she capitalizes on the mistake. So there we go. And then we're going to notice that Gragas does try to make up for the mistake, oversteps, disrespects the Kai'Sa's damage, and then ends up dying for that. And then she's able to take these camps anyways for free, very safely. So we're going to notice that this Evelynn is pathing towards making things happen on the map rather than focusing on the farm. So she wanted to focus on the heavy farm pre-6 so that she could get to the point where she could do things like this on the map. And then once she does those things on the map, she's obviously going to go backwards and make her plays happen. And that's how you really want to be playing the jungle matchups and putting pressure on everyone in the game. When you have a lead, you want to be looking at putting pressure on this line first, and then you're going to be looking at putting pressure on this line. And then once these things are cleared, if you've taken away the threats or the pressure that you can in any of these aspects here, um, sorry, as far as the lane as well, rivers as well, drew a little bit of a rough line there, but so the river on down, once you've taken care of the pressure and the easy picking kills, or even the very well set up designed ganks of kills, then you go ahead and you retreat and you clear this jungle so that you're not only getting what you've put yourself ahead with, you're also reapplying pressure by not letting their jungle go ahead and take anything that you've left up in your jungle, so he can't make up for the experience, right? So now Evelynn will have a perpetual level lead unless Gragas can somehow force himself to get a huge kill, steal something from Evelynn, or position himself in a team fight to where he wins the team fight. But if Evelynn plays this properly, she'll have that perpetual one level lead, which also lets her smite that dragon away from Gragas. Gragas doesn't have as strong of a smite, And we're going to notice Evelynn is using her stealth to dance between these towers, make sure that she's not being seen by anyone. No one has any idea where she's at. Gragas didn't stay bottom to help his gangplank, and it just is detrimental for him. She's looking at making these big plays. She's 2 levels ahead of the Gragas. She's utilizing her stealth, staying between these towers where no one would expect her to be. No one can see her, and she's just gonna wait with vision, be patient, not horse anything, not force anything. And as soon as they're able to, they're gonna take this dive, and it's going to be a very, very safe dive. There's nothing that they can do about it. There's nothing that the Gragas can do about it at this point. He just walks into a death trap because he has no way of knowing where Evelynn is, and she's gonna utilize her stealth, her lead, her advantage, and make things happen on the rest of the map where she can, playing very smart, very slow, but very tactical. And that's what's going to be the difference between why the Gragas is not able to get ahead anymore. She's going to keep the lead by continuously exerting pressure on the map. There, not only did she exert those 2 kills, but she was able to let her team get a free tower, not be contested for it, and then she's going to rinse and repeat. She knows that Gangplank wants to come up here to try to get himself back in the game where he has a level disadvantage, and he's not going to be able to do that. She's not going to let him do that. He's wasted flash now for free. Evelynn literally just had to walk behind him, go ahead and tap him with a W, and then he's free. And now she's utilizing her stealth again, and Gangplank has nothing he can do about it. Now he doesn't have flash, and he's going to catch a free charm, and she's most likely going to burst him to death. Camille's coming. They have vision. They know where he's at. Yep, and there it goes. That's going to be a kill. Easy. They have too much damage. There's no way that he can do anything. She's got electrocute. She's got the damage. She's got the burst. She's got the Lich Bane. That's too much. Now, instead of looking at the micro of what Evelynn is doing and how she's playing, why she is, we're going to notice that now she has full reign of the map. She has free reign. No one knows where she's at. She's going to be a ghost, right? As long as she doesn't step on any vision, it looks like they have tons of pink wards in her jungle. She's going to look to clear those so she can have absolute control of the jungle again. When she's able to stealth through the whole jungle and you have no idea where she's at, she inadvertently puts pressure on the whole map. There is no oh my gosh, there's pressure on the top, bottom, middle, whatever. Anywhere that you can't see Evelynn is now a threat. So now again, Lucian doesn't have a tower. That's all it takes. All it takes is him to not have a tower, and she's able to get the free kills. The free kills as soon as he steps up, because he has no idea where Evelynn is. She has full reign of this map. There's nowhere she can't go. There's nowhere that she can't be. So the expectations from the enemy team have to be so much more of just she is everywhere rather than, oh, here I can track her at this point or I can track her at this point. You can't track an Evelynn after she gets a lead like this and she's clearing vision. And that's why it's so important to not only clear the vision that you're seeing in the jungle, make sure you're checking every bush, but to maintain those leads around the map by clearing vision in your jungle. When the enemy jungler can't track you and you're ahead like this, 8-1 and 6 as she is, there's nothing he can do to stop that. He can't get himself back ahead. He has to resort to farming lanes. When he's farming lanes, you know exactly where he's at, so he's not able to put any pressure or exert any pressure on any side of the map. He's not able to threaten any objectives. He's not able to step into his jungle on the off chance that Evelynn is in his jungle and fights him one-on-one. He's not safe to do so. So he's got to resort to sharing experience, which again is what's going to put Evelynn at this perpetual lead. The idea here is that now Evelynn wants to push forward. So now, like I said, we're going to divide this into 3 spots. So we're going to look at this spot opens up once you take the first 3 towers on the enemy team. Okay. Before that, this is the spot where you're exerting pressure and then you're falling back. So we're going to look at this as almost like a pyramid, okay? You always want to start at the highest tip with your pressure that you can and then work your way down through uh, through those levels of where you want to exert your pressure and what's more important on the map. Okay, so we're going to look at Evelynn is dancing between these lines, making sure that anyone who steps up past any of these towers that are dead, um, they're getting killed because she has the vision. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wards on the map on the blue side right now, or I'm sorry, on the red side right now, and zero vision from the blue side. Zero. Vision control is so important to the macro of the game because you can't do anything against someone that's ahead of you if you can't see where they're going. If they're unpredictable, there's no way for you to get back ahead, because if you take the risk and you accidentally get caught, you end up running the risk of putting yourself further behind, and then there's nothing you can do after that point. Now, coming back to these quadrants of the map, Evelynn is going to exert pressure on the deeper parts by making sure there are no towers in this first part. Okay, there are no objectives in the river that she can control or take. Once those are gone, you look to exert pressure on the towers and dive as much as possible, as safely as possible, which we've already seen her do with the top tower and the bottom tower. Um, Once that's completed, you look to pushing the middle tower with the pressure. We also noticed that she dove again in the mid lane, but she dove properly. She made sure she waited it out, had her proper cooldowns, made sure her team was there, waited for that, and then went in at the proper times. So patience was key. And then you're going to see her exert pressure on the second tier towers of the map. Now this second tier tower down here in the bot lane is done, which means you're most likely going to see Evelynn start pathing down here again and picking up any kills that she can on this bot side, because anyone past this tower here is no longer safe. They're no longer safe from Evelynn. They have no vision. They have no control of the jungle. She's level 13, and the highest person on their team is level 12, and she's got a lead on him. She's 8-1, very, very fed with the items she's got. It looks like she has a full item over Zed. Um, Yeah, so she's got a full item over Zed because he's got components. He's got two components. She's got a big component and two finished items here. So there's nothing that they can do at this point to defend. They would have to back up and slow play this out. Unfortunately, Evelynn's playing to close this game out, make sure that she's starving out the enemy jungler. He can't do anything on the map with kills. He can't do anything on the map with farming his jungle or Evelynn's jungle to get back up. He can't contest river objectives because he doesn't have turrets to fall back on, and she's going to slowly push up to where her reign of the jungle is further up and further up each time. And that's where you start winning, looking to win these games with macro play. She's rotating as much as she can, getting the kills that she can in the bot side, making sure that Gragas doesn't have free, really anything, free farm. He's not getting free objectives. He's not able to play the game for free. Once she pushes him off that, he knows that she's bot side, so she's able to take this dragon. I'm sorry, Azir's able to take the dragon for free. He's strong enough. They see the junglers fighting. His jungler's stronger, and there's no way that the enemy team pushes up with no vision to come fight that. So putting in that vision, clearing the vision, is a perfect way to exert your macro, to start your macro, to start rotating to where you need to have vision, start rotating to where you need to take the towers, start rotating to where you're getting the free picks, you're killing anyone who's solo laning by themselves, because when someone's side laning like this Gangplank is, if you only send one person to stop the pressure he's putting on the map, then you actually don't lose out on what Gangplank is doing right now. He's 0-7-1. He's farming a little bit, but stopping him takes a character off the map, takes damage off the map, and takes care of uh, the threat of him pushing up and taking free objectives. Now, what we're going to notice here is a little bit of a micro play. They're taking this tower. They have plenty of damage to do it, especially with Baron. Okay, now they have Baron and they have plenty of damage to do this. However, if out of the fog of war a Gragas flies up, a Zed flies up, and a Nautilus ults, she's here because they're going to try to want to take advantage, or I'm sorry, they're going to want to try to take advantage of the numbers game here, and Evelynn's not letting that happen. So because she knows that she has no vision on anyone, and this is where the pressure is being exerted, Camille took a free tower here, and she's backing up, so there's no way they go here. Azir's pushing over here, um, and he's most likely going to back up and be very safe. If he does get jumped on, the Gragas will be pushed back with Azir's ultimate, and there's really no reason for them to go chase that because he's so safe. Um, so Evelynn's thinking is that they're probably going to come to this mid lane, and when they do, she's ready for it if they do. So let's see how this plays out. And we're going to notice she's still there. She's still putting that pressure on the map. She's still making sure she's in range of all the other champions on her team. She's making sure she's not leaving them for dead. She's making sure that they're able to get what they need to get out of this game and back as safely as possible. We're going to notice that the Kaisa, who started off as 0-3 or 1-3, is now 6-4-4 with a gold lead and a gold bounty on her as well. Now we're going to notice that Evelynn is just going to keep going to these side lanes, and this is exactly what I was saying. When Gangplank is a free kill, and you don't have to send more than one person to do that kill, to get that kill, to get the kill on the Gangplank, he's actually not being beneficial to his team. He's not playing the macro game properly. He's trying to, but he's not exerting enough pressure and being enough of a threat where they have to send more than one person. Evelynn is able to kill him by herself, which means that he would be more beneficial in his team to stay in team fight with them so that he can get off his damage properly. We're going to notice Evelynn does path straight there. They have a disadvantage already. They have one less champion just right off the bat because Evelynn does kill the Gangplank for free. And that's where the game is going to end. They're going to forfeit. They notice that they're getting aced. They can't fight anymore. They have no control of the game. They had no control over the map. The Evelynn looks like she maxed Q into E, W second. The build there, very early buy for the Runic Echoes with her lead. Very nice boot buy to get her speed, her movement speed, so she can rotate between those objectives. Very clean patience game. She waited and knew where the Gragas was going to be based on where she forced him to be, depending on what was available, where he was able to go, and she also adapted her gameplay to where she saw the Gragas was, took advantage of him being bot lane, made sure she got her lead in the top lane, and was able to transition that to end that game out. So very well played by Evelynn. Again, that's going to be an analysis by instinct from ProGuides. I'll catch you guys on the next one.